Welcome to Voiced. Today's post is from subreddit entitled Parents by RosalieIves, and it is about a shocking encounter with a mother-in-law who believes she has a right to interfere in her daughter's family's plans. This is going to be a bit of a long one, but I need to vent this out because I am so annoyed and just infuriated, really. Let me start this off by saying that I am a very happy 29-yo-F living with my husband Alex, 31, and 4 kids, ages 7, 4, 2, and 1. My husband and I had pretty bad childhoods, but I have great contact with my parents, and when we still lived fairly near them, they would come and help out by cleaning the entire apartment, and overall, were amazing. Meanwhile, his family is absolutely insane. His father is in jail, and his mom is just bat poop crazy. There's been so much insane drama with her that a few years ago, when we moved back to the UK from a different country, we went completely no contact with her. Alex has a sister and a brother. We don't talk with the brother, but are really close to his sister. She lives in London and is also NC with my MIL. She recently graduated from uni, and she loves our kids, so that's great. The last time we heard from MIL was 2 years ago, which was when we moved, and since then, everything has been calm. Now, time skip to just 3 weeks ago. I was recently looking through old photos and realized that Alex and I hadn't gone on a proper date in ages. Once every 2 months, we used to take a weekend trip to the beach, mountains, city, before we had kids. And even after our first, we stuck to the tradition and took baby with us. But after our second, we just didn't have the time anymore. We were busy, plus we live by the beach, so if we want a nice outing, we just take a 1-minute stroll there and call it a day. But looking at those photos really just brought back this nostalgia of time spent just the two of us. And after talking with Alex, we decided it would be nice to maybe take a weekend trip down to France the following week. I don't work, and Alex has a flexible schedule. We had to move a few things around, but overall it wasn't that hard. His sister immediately agreed to come to look after our children, and the kids are excited to see their aunt. I was a bit sad to leave the babies, but knew it would be good for our relationship to have some time just for ourselves. So, we were all ready for our trip. It was Wednesday, and we were set to go Friday evening. Alex was at work, and I was home alone with the children when I heard the doorbell. I go and open the door, and there, standing with a smug grin on her face, is my Miel. I was shocked to say the least, because how on earth did she find out our address? She doesn't even live in the same country as us, and yet here she was. "Oh, is that the newest baby?" She pointed at my son, who I was holding. "I've never even met him." She practically pushed herself in and casually sat down in the living room while I tried to figure out what on earth to do. When I asked why she was here, she tried to avoid the topic and instead wanted to see the other kids and bond with them until Alex came home. But I wouldn't let her. It might sound rude of me, but as I said, she's done some incredibly toxic things in the past, before and after I gave birth, so this was to protect our family. Finally, she dropped the sweet grandma mask and revealed the true reason she was here, to persuade me into letting her spend the weekend with her grandkids. She somehow found out we were going to France and leaving the kids with my Sil, and she wasn't having that. She began saying Sil was irresponsible and young. She wouldn't manage taking care of 4 young children for 2 whole nights. Meanwhile, MIL explained she was experienced after raising 3 children, so she would have no problem. Plus, she was already here. When I said no, she shifted her personality and became serious, which meant yelling at me and telling me she had the right to see her grandbabies and that she would call the police and demand grandparental rights. She claimed I was being abusive and neglectful for planning to leave my children alone for a whole weekend, that she'll call social services and more poop like that. I was getting tired and asked her to leave, but she said she won't and literally sat on the couch, refusing to move. When I called Alex to come, he was not pleased and got into a heated argument with his mother, which resulted in her finally leaving. However, this whole thing is nuts because we cannot figure out how she found out our address or our weekend plans. Seal swears she didn't tell any relatives, and only her colleagues plus roommates knew. As for MIL, she didn't fully leave. I have no idea where she's staying at the moment, but we see her driving a rental car outside our house constantly, as if she's a surveillance officer. It's so ridiculous, but scary at the same time because our older two kids are constantly playing outside in the garden without supervision. And while we obviously have a fence and security cameras, it's still a scary thought that she might try to snatch one of them. Even though Alex endures me, she wouldn't go that far. We ultimately canceled our trip due to fear that she'd try to pull something while we were gone. We're still trying to figure out how she found us, and we're just waiting for her to do something that would let us get a restraining order against her. She's a scary woman for sure. Wow, this story is absolutely wild. It's terrifying how some family dynamics can get out of control, especially when it comes to protecting your children. I can't even imagine how invasive and threatening it must feel to have someone show up unannounced and trying to demand access like that. It seems clear that creating boundaries is vital for the safety and well-being of your family. Your decision to keep your children safe and not allow your Mael to take over is commendable. And it's frustrating that she thinks she has the right to invade your lives just because she's their grandma. It's such a shame that family can sometimes bring so much drama and stress instead of support and love. Let us know your thoughts, folks. Have you ever faced a similar situation? How do you deal with family boundaries? Drop your comments below. Thank you for listening to today's episode of Voiced. If you enjoy daily high-quality stories, please like and subscribe to show your support.